In many countries, Housing First in Europe is a few pilot projects, but we have a number of countries where you have national strategies built on Housing First, like in Denmark, like in Finland, now more and more also in the Netherlands, in France. You have cities which have decided to upscale Housing First, but there's still quite a way to go.
In Denmark, it was a national strategy which was decided from the parliament. At the same time, the municipality organization also agree with the government to spread Housing First into all the municipalities. And the government funded that 24 of the municipality was getting into a program where their employers were trained from the National Board of Social Service into what is Housing First and what are the methods that we are using.
You may have good pilot projects, but if you want to change things permanently, you have to put it on a national level.
Il y a plusieurs défis. Le premier, c'est celui de la pérennisation. Et ça, nous sommes en bonne voie pour le faire et pour installer définitivement le programme. Mais notre défi de demain, c'est aussi de l'étendre sur l'ensemble du territoire national.
This Housing First must be concreted through three lines in our strategy. First of all, dissemination of this methodology through the professional administration, NGOs, everyone who intervenes with housing, with homeless people. Secondly, encourage public administrations who have public housing stock to know about it. And thirdly, working with a person as a person, the case management as a way of working with homeless people.
So there was a psychological effect that everybody are doing this now. It was not such one project in Helsinki or some other city, but there were 10 cities involved and everybody had that kind of projects going on. So it was really a mass movement already in the beginning. And people realized that, people working with homeless persons realized that this is really working and this is something new and it's important what we are doing. The self-respect of people working with homeless persons, that's one of the key things, certainly, to make the change.
Housing First doesn't work for absolutely everybody. We know that for a minority of users it doesn't work out. Not everybody needs the kind of support service that Housing First offers. And also for people who are on a predictable route into homelessness, like maybe leaving the youth care system, prevention is a better option. So Housing First is never going to be the only response to homelessness. It's always part of a bigger picture.
What's really important, I think, is that Housing First approaches in England are integrated with other services. It's not a one-size-fits-all. We need choice, we need variety of services, we need to make sure that there is a full range of services available to meet people's needs. So although it's not a panacea, it's not the answer to everything, for a very specific group of people it can offer a real opportunity that other services simply haven't been able to do.
We think that there needs to be a range of housing-related support for people, from people with very low needs who might just need a little bit of help to get into accommodation and keep that tenancy, through to people who've got much more complex needs. And that's really one of the areas we see Housing First fitting, is people at that higher need.
A nosotros lo que nos ha supuesto la red municipal es una nueva línea de trabajo, evidentemente una perspectiva de futuro, un complemento a la actual red y una aportación de una nueva metodología de trabajo con las personas sin hogar.
There was always one group of people that we couldn't reach them because their problems were too too strong, too severe, to mental health problems, addiction problems. They wouldn't fit into the sorts of shelters we have, or they avoided any kind of support. So they stayed in night care, only night care for years and years, and they didn't accept any kind of support. So we said we should make a solution. We try to find new solutions for this group.
No one wants nuisance or trouble in the city, so local government makers are they're happy when there are initiatives that prevent nuisance or prevent trouble in the neighborhood. And Housing First is actually one of the projects that does it. So make that very, very clear. And if the housing association is with you, because they will see the rent will get paid, the nuisance will stop, and people will get their life.
We saw it very important in housing rights idea, in implementing it. It's a question of the welfare of the families, of the lonely homeless persons. It's a question of the communities. It's a question of the safety of the society, and also the economics. All the things can be put together through the Housing First idea.
In New York, I mean, there are 11,000 sleep rough. In Glasgow, just over 100. So the balance is in our favour. So I was absolutely clear we'd won. And lo and behold, I suppose I wasn't expecting even the level of success that it's had, if I was being honest. It's been more successful than I'd anticipated.
I've learned that it's very difficult to change systems, that people are used to doing things one way, and it's very hard to convince them to do something else. It's better to try and change a policy or the funding, and so there's new money for a new program. That will make change happen much quicker than trying to convince people to do something different. That's been my experience.
An open question about the strategic role of Housing First more broadly is how can it be adapted to specific and emerging needs? Like in a lot of Europe at the moment, we see big increases in youth homelessness, especially youth with complex needs. And I think it's interesting to look at how Housing First can be used in that scenario or in general to respond to new needs.